Hello student. In our today's video, we are going to start with the next point from the topic. It's a formation of antigen antibody complex. So in previous video, we have studied the structure of antibody. As you know, the antibodies are uh, polypeptide chain basically made up of 4 polypeptide chain, and it having a variable region, and this variable region having antigen binding site. This antigen binding site which is present on the antibody is called as a paratope. Okay, this paratope, especially to which the site of antigen, especially the antigen which having the epitope which comes and bind and forms the antigen antibody complex. How it forms, just see. As you have studied the structure of antibody, majority of the antibodies are Y-shaped, as you know. Okay, and this is the heavy chain, right? This is the heavy chain, and here I am drawing the light chain. These are the light chain. Okay. So at this site, this is the variable region of this two. It having antigen binding site. So this is the antigen binding site at where the antigen has to bind. Okay. This is the antigen binding site. And this antigen binding site is called as a paratope. This is called as a paratope. Or antigen binding site. Okay, so majority of the antigens are made up of proteinous in nature, right? That means they are also made up of proteins. So they also having a surface protein. For example, this is a particular antigen, and it having its antigenic determinants. Okay, these are the antigen determinants site. Okay, this is the antigen binding site, and this is the antigen determinant site. These are the antigen determinant, and so it is these are called as antigen determinant site. So it indicates that these surface proteins are indicating that this is the antigen here. And so basically the antibodies which are the antibodies which are stick to the plasma cells. As you know, the plasma B cells are responsible for the production of the antibodies. Some of the antibodies are remaining attached to the plasma cell. Suppose this is a plasma cell. Some antibodies are stick on the surface of the plasma cell. Okay, they are not wandering. Okay, some of the antibodies, these are the antibodies, right, which are produced by the plasma cell. Some of the antibodies which are coming into the bloodstream. So some of the antibodies are in a bloodstream. So now we have antibodies. These antibodies, some are on the surface of a plasma cells and some are in a bloodstream, right? So what happens when any antigen enters in our body at that time? Basically, we try to defeat this antigen by 3 means. By forming agglutination. Agglutination means the clumping. That means the antigen and antibody get fixed with each other like a lock and key. Okay, it is called as an agglutination method, right? By which we are just trying to defend it. Agglutination by forming the agglutination, then opsonization, and the third one is a neutralization. These are the 3 means by which we are just trying, our body antibodies are trying to just trap that antigen and destroy its function, working ability, right? So when the antigen invades to our body, at that time, this antibodies goes towards this side. Okay, so this antibodies moves towards the antigen, and suppose this is the antigen and this is the antigenic determinant site which get fixed. It gets fixed, okay, into this site, and now the antigen is blocked. This is the antigen, okay. This is the paratope and this is the epitope. This is the epitope of the antigen. Epitope is the site of the antigen and paratope is present on the antibody, right? So, to the paratope, the epitope of the antigen comes and bind, okay, and forms the clumping, okay, and forms the antigen antibody complex. It forms the antigen antibody complex. As you know, our antibodies are generally bivalent. Bivalent means it having these two sites, two variable, two antigen binding sites are there, and to which the antigen has to bind. Okay, so it having two sites for the binding of antigen, so it is called as a bivalent antibody. Okay, so this another to this site another antigen can bind. When this antigen antibody complex get formed, this variable region get detached from the constant region. Okay, it get detached from the constant region, and now then this antigen and antibody complex, antigen antibody complex is then engulfed by the phagocytic cell and get destroyed. Clear, everyone? Okay. So this is all related with the formation of antigen antibody complex. So every antigen has its antigenic determinant sites present on its surface. These are nothing but the surface proteins, right? And this proteinous nature is detected by our antibodies. And antibodies having paratope, and these are the epitopes of the antigen. The epitopes of the antigen get fixed into the paratope of the antibody to form an antigen antibody complex. Now this term we call as a clumping or simply agglutination. Okay, it is simply called as a agglutination. When antigen antibody complex get formed, the variable region get detached from the constant region, and then this antigen antibody complex is resisted by phagocytosis process by the phagocytic cells which are present in our bloodstream. Clear? So this is all related with the formation of antigen antibody complex. Now we are turning towards the next point from the topic, that is the especially the antigen present on blood cells. Okay. ABO blood group system. Simply we are turning to the next point is a ABO blood group system. So this ABO blood group system was detected in 19th by Karl Landsteiner. This ABO blood group system was given by Karl Landsteiner. Okay, and his students named as De Castro and Stirling. De Castro and Stirling in 1902 detect Rh factor. Okay, he detect ABO blood group system, while this two has detected Rh factor with Karl Landsteiner, Rh factor. Nowadays, most accepted blood group system is a ABO blood group system. Most accepted blood group system is a ABO blood group system. Clear? There are several methods by which we can detect our blood group. These are can be asked for a single sentence. So the blood group systems are ABO, then RH, the next one is the MNS, Duffy, Kidd, MNS, P, Duffy, Lewis, and Kidd. Lewis, Kidd, and Bombay blood group. Bombay blood group. Okay. So, my dear, this can be asked for single sentence. Name the various types of blood group systems. So these are ABO, RH, MNS, P, Duffy, Lewis, Kidd, and Bombay blood group. These are the different types of blood group system. But the most accepted blood group system all over the world is the ABO blood group system, which comes with a RH. So this is the most accepted blood group system, especially accepted worldwide, that is the ABO and RH blood group system. So now we are turning towards the ABO blood group system. What is ABO blood group system? What is the basic funda behind this? So generally the antigens are present on the surface of RBCs. Okay, and complementary antibodies are present in serum. So everyone, keep in mind that antibodies are present on surface of RBC, while the complementary antibodies are present in a serum. Okay, so especially related with this, suppose this is our RBC, biconcave RBC. Everyone knows this is the biconcave RBC, right? This biconcave RBC, or as you know, the structure of RBC is a biconcave. That means inner side is like this, like a peppermint or alpenlibe chocolate, right? So this is enucleated. Everyone knows that. Everyone know na? Then our RBCs, mature RBC. What I am saying, our mature RBCs are enucleated. And on the surface of our mature RBC, there are the antigens present, okay, for the blood group detection. And these are, okay, as we have A antigen, B antigen, AB antigen, okay, A and B, majorly A and B antigens are A and B. Okay, these antigens are present on a surface of antibody. So, surface on a RBC. So this is our RBC. This is our RBC, red blood cells. Okay, A and B. So the person, if one person which having not all these, always not on all these, we have 4 different types of blood group. Blood group A, B, AB, and O, right? So these are the 4 blood groups. Clear? Listen. Blood group A, B, AB, and O. So related with this, listen. We are going quite detailed related with this. So our RBC, if the person is with A blood group, here I am mentioning the antigen present on RBC. present on RBC. So this is our RBC. This is our RBC. On the surface of the RBC, there are the antigens present. Okay, so the antigen present for blood group A is A antigen. Which antigen? Antigen A are present on a surface of this mature RBC for blood group A. Clear? So what about the blood group B? So for blood group B, yes, complementary. Which antigen is present on RBC? It's a B antigen. Which one? B antigen present on the surface of this RBC. Then the next one is the AB blood group. On blood group AB, the surface it having both these A as well as B antigen present on its surface. Both A and B. A and B. Both the antigens are present on the surface of this RBC. Those persons who are having ABR group and as a blood group, right? Then those who are with O blood group, they doesn't having the antigen on its surface. So this RBC, in case of O blood group, they doesn't having the antigen on their surface. That means this RBC is a naked RBC which doesn't having any antigen on its surface. So everyone is clear with this? So see, those person who having A blood group, they having A antigen on its RBC. Those with B blood group having B antigen on its surface of a RBC, and those who having AB, they having A and B antigen on their surface, and those who having O doesn't having any antigen on their surface. So how? So listen carefully. So this is our RBC. So we are just dealing with how these antigens comes on the surface of the RBC. Clear? So at very first time, when the RBCs get formed during hemopoiesis, that means during blood formation, erythropoiesis formation took place, right? At the initial stage of the RBC formation, our RBCs, the immature RBCs are nucleated. Clear to everyone? Okay. Our immature RBCs. What I am saying? Immature RBCs. As everyone knows that our RBCs are enucleated, but our immature RBCs are nucleated. These are nucleated. Okay. So this is our immature RBC, and this immature RBC having the nucleus. Okay. And this nucleus having the chromosomes. It having the chromosome. So especially on chromosome number 9. Chromosome number 9. Listen everyone. This is important for you. For NEET. On chromosome number 9, there is a gene for the antigen. Okay, present on RBC. So here is the, for example, here is the gene which is responsible for antigen. Especially this is responsible for the formation of particular enzyme. Okay, this enzyme get formed and so many biochemical processes took place in this region, and so that the particular H antigen get formed on the surface of RBC. Which antigen I have mentioned? Antigen H. Okay, on the surface of everyone's RBC when it is immature. So I am with AB blood group. You people may be with the A blood group, B blood group, okay, or O blood group, right? So every individual which having the immature RBC, and on the surface of immature RBC, everyone has a H antigen. Which antigen? H antigen. Okay, at initial state. What I am saying? Initial state. But when this RBC get matured, and according to the person wise, then this H antigen along with some enzymes in every individual. I'm not going in a detail because in our book they haven't mentioned the detail, but it having a detail that so this is as okay, this is as it is. So though I'm saying it is naked, but it having H antigen on its surface. O blood group which having H antigen on its surface. Everyone clear? What I'm saying, at initial state, when the blood formation takes place in a bone marrow or any hemopoietic organ, when the blood formation takes place, at that time, our RBCs are immature. Our immature RBCs, on their surface, having at initial state, they're having H antigen. Everyone, though from all these blood group, they're having at initially on their RBC, they're having H antigen. But according to the person wise or according to the blood group wise, what happened? The enzyme secretion differs. And chromosome number 9, the different enzymes get secreted, and because of that, the surface antigen get changed. Because of only the because of enzymes, various enzymes, because of the enzymes, various enzymes works, and because of that, the surface antigen get changed into H antigen. Then in blood group A, it gets changed into the A. Then in B blood group, the surface antigen get changed into the B, and in AB blood group, the surface antigen get changed into A and B, while in O, it remains H antigen. Clear to everyone? Okay, so this is related with this part. So everyone is clear with the funda related with the antigen present on RBCs. Clear to everyone? Okay. Now, so the next point. As I have stated, the complementary antibodies are present in the blood serum. Okay, these are present in a serum. That means the antibodies present, yes, present in serum. When we are writing the antibodies, we have to write in a small letters. When we are mentioning the antigen, we have to mention it in the caps letter. And here is a name. Clear? Okay, then the next one is a complementary antibodies. The complementary antibodies in a blood group A having A antigen and having small b antibody. Clear to everyone? Okay, then antibody B. Antibody B. Here is the antibody. Yes, complementary antibody. Yes, in the blood group B, it having A. Very good. Then the next one, as it having the surface is covered with the antigen A as well as B, so it doesn't having any antibody in its blood serum. I mean, that means there is no protein. Okay, and here is the both antibody A and B are present in a blood, in a serum. Clear to everyone? So this is all related with this part. So see, how to write. In blood group A, they having A antigen and antibody B. In blood group B, they having B antigen and antibody A. In blood group AB, they having A and B antigen on the RBC, while they doesn't having any antibodies in a serum. In O blood group, they doesn't having any antigen on the RBC surface, while they having both the antibodies in a blood serum. Clear? Then the next one, to whom we called as a universal donor and universal recipient. Okay. So clear? So here is very important one. Blood group AB is universal recipient. Universal recipient or acceptor. acceptor. While the O blood group is a universal donor. It's a universal donor. Okay, what is the reason behind it? Why we are saying it as a universal donor and universal recipient? So AB blood group, AB is universal acceptor. That means it can accept blood from. So I will rub this. So from whom we can accept the blood? We can accept blood. Okay. So as everyone knows, universal donor. Why O blood group is called as universal donor? Because it has no proteins. It has no proteins to cause clumps. It has no proteins to cause clumps, and it has every proteins, especially it has the proteins, and so not forming any clump. So clear, everyone? Listen carefully. It doesn't having AB blood group doesn't having the antibodies. It doesn't having the antibodies in the serum. It doesn't having the antibodies in the serum. Okay, but it's having antigen on its surface. And here it having the antibodies on the inner serum and doesn't having the antigen on the surface. So these are called as a respectively universal recipient and a universal donor. Okay, so from whom we can accept blood? As you know, universal donor is the O blood group. So everyone can receive blood from O blood group. Can receive blood from O blood group. So, and can accept from itself as blood group A is universal acceptor. It can accept blood from AB, O as well as A and B. Yeah. And O blood group only accept blood from O. Yeah. So to whom we can donate the blood? Here, to whom we can donate? Okay. So blood group A will donate the blood to A and O. Sorry, can donate blood to A and AB. Here is the universal acceptor is a AB. Everyone, AB. Right. Can donate blood to A, B. Here is a AB. Then especially related with the then here it can donate blood to everyone. A, B, AB and O. Yeah. So this is all related with to whom we can donate the blood. So this is all related with the ABO blood group typing, and this ABO blood group system was given by Karl Landsteiner in 1902. Karl Landsteiner, De Castro, and Stirling has put forth the RH factor. Because of the invention of ABO blood group system, Karl Landsteiner was awarded with a Nobel Prize. Okay. So the next point we are going to going to study, that is the RH factor. Along with ABO blood group system, the most common blood group type was also universally accepted. That was a RH factor. So this RH name comes from rhesus monkey. Rhesus monkey. So majority of the human population, having this Rh factor, near about more than mostly the human population is with the Rh factor. Those who having Rh factor in their blood, they are called as a Rh positive. And those lacks this factor, though doesn't having this factor, called as a Rh negative. Okay, these are called as a Rh negative. Okay, so majority this Rh factor is majorly found in a rhesus monkey's blood. Okay, and this factor is also present in, that means the antigen D. Rhesus factor, Rh factor means anti-D. Okay, this anti-D is present in a yes, it is present in only the rhesus monkey, monkey's blood. And majority of the human population also having this Rh factor. So majority the human population is with the Rh positive. Especially you can see that the majority of the Asiatic populations are with the Rh positive blood group. Very rare are with the Rh negative. Clear to everyone? So what this Rh factor implies, or what is the importance of this Rh factor? The Rh factor must be compatible while blood transfusion. If it was not compatible, then it may causes the clumping. So there is one point is explained, that is the hemolytic disease of newborn, SDN. HDN. The long form can be asked for single sentence. It is a hemolytic disease of newborn. Hemolytic disease of a newborn, or it is also called as the name as a erythroblastosis fetalis. Erythroblastosis fetalis. So erythroblastosis fetalis. This is the term for SDN. So this is very important one. This name, erythroblastosis fetalis, can be asked for single sentence. The long form can be asked for single sentence also. Okay. For MCQ also it can be asked. So erythroblastosis fetalis, when this term occurs, or when this condition occurs, especially when the couple, in this couple, if the female, majorly I will say the female with a Rh negative blood group, that means female is a Rh negative and her partner male is with a Rh positive factor. Only where difference is that not with the ABO. We are not dealing with the ABO now. We are just dealing with the Rh factor. Okay. The father or the male is with a Rh positive blood group and the female is with a Rh negative blood group. This erythroblastosis fetalis or the hemolytic disease of newborn only found when the mother is Rh negative and her partner is with a Rh positive blood group. Clear to everyone? Okay. So, and if it is vice versa, then doesn't matter. That means if the father is with the Rh negative and mother is with the Rh positive, it doesn't impact. The condition, keep in mind that the female is with the Rh negative and a male is with the Rh positive, then and then only the condition happens. Okay. So, as you know, majority of the population is with a Rh positive. So, this positive factor is dominant. This positive factor is dominant over recessive, over Rh negative. That means Rh negative is a recessive one. Recessive. So, everyone is clear? Yes. Concept must be clear. So the Rh positive factor is dominant over Rh negative. So what will be the progeny, further progeny formed from this couple? Yes, must having, always having. Yes, with a Rh positive blood group. The offspring will form. Whatever the offspring is formed from this couple will be with the Rh positive. So clear. Okay, because Rh positive is dominant over Rh negative. But keep in mind, this Rh positive fetus is growing in the womb of Rh negative mother. Clear? This fetus is growing inside the Rh negative mother. So while development, suppose this is the womb, and in a womb, suppose this is the womb. Yeah, I'm just drawing the womb. So this is the womb, and in the womb, the baby is growing, and this baby is with the Rh positive. Okay. So some blood cells can go into the via the placenta. Transplacental barriers are also there, but sometimes the blood cells from when that female conceives at very first time. At that time, what happened? The blood cells from the fetus can penetrate the uterine wall and goes into the bloodstream of the female. Clear? So in a placenta, there is a placental barrier, okay, which doesn't allow the transmission like this way, but via the womb wall, the RBCs can penetrate, the fetal RBCs can penetrate and comes in a contact with the mother's blood. As this Rh positive, which is growing inside the Rh negative mother, this Rh positive factor of the fetus works as an antigen for the mother's blood, because it's a foreign particle, foreign substance. Rh positive factor is not her own. Her own is with a Rh negative one. Clear? So this Rh positive is working, this Rh positive factor is working as the antigen for this Rh negative mother. So obviously by nature, naturally this Rh negative mother forms anti-Rh factor. Okay, it forms anti-Rh factor. That means it forms the antibodies against this Rh positive. Clear? So what happened? When the first baby may be safe, but the second time, as you have studied, the one of the feature of acquired immunity is the memory. So what happens in a memory? In memory, what happened? If that at very first time when she conceived, she having a fetus, always having a fetus with the Rh positive, because the father is with the Rh positive and mother with the Rh negative one. The father is always, the Rh positive factor is dominant over Rh negative. So always whatever the offspring formed by these couples are with the Rh positive. Okay. So when the second time when she tries to when she conceives, at that time this positive for this Rh positive, she having a plenty of Rh negative, anti-Rh antibodies. Okay, anti-D antibodies, right? So this anti-D antibodies comes in a bloodstream of the fetus and forms a clumping and breaks the RBCs, and it may leads the death of the fetus. Okay, it may leads the death of the fetus, and so this term is called as erythroblastosis fetalis. Erythro means RBCs. Blastosis means rupturing of the RBCs, and which leads the fetal death. So named as a erythroblastosis fetalis. Clear to everyone? And it is simply named as hemolytic disease of newborn. Hemolytic disease. Lysis means breakdown. Hemo means blood. Okay, iron. Okay, hemolytic, and iron is present in a, yes, hemoglobin is present in a RBC. So it is named as a hemolytic disease of a newborn, in which the blood cells get ruptured because of incompatible factor, that is the Rh factor. Clear to everyone? So what we can do in this condition? Shall we change the father? No. So we have to just take a precaution that that couples has to take a precaution that every time when she conceives, she has to take a anti-D injection. She must be given a anti-D injection, and when such injections are given, whatever the offsprings will be formed, that will be with the healthy one. That will be the healthy offsprings. Okay, that doesn't shows the SDN or erythroblastosis fetalis. So this is all related with this part. That is the hemolytic disease of a newborn. That is the Rh factor incompatibility. This is the Rh factor incompatibility, and it is seen only when, yes, it is seen only when the mother is with a Rh negative blood group and father is with a Rh positive. If both are with a negative, it doesn't happen. Okay, both are with negative, doesn't happen. If mother is with a positive and father is a negative, then what? She is positive. As you know, positive, she is positive, mother is positive, and father is negative. Which is dominant? Rh positive. And Rh positive is reared into the Rh positive womb, then it doesn't affect. It doesn't affect. Clear to everyone? Okay, so this is all related with the blood group, ABO blood group, and Rh factor incompatibility. That means this term is also called as a Rh factor incompatibility. Incompatible. Compatible means perfect match, and incompatible means mismatch. Okay, so Rh factor incompatibility leads into the SDN or erythroblastosis fetalis. So clear to everyone? Now we are turning towards the one point which is remain from the topic, that is the vaccine. Vaccine. Vaccination, or it is also called as immunization. Okay, so one of the point which is remain from our topic, that is the vaccination or immunization. To protect against a particular pathogen, we are administering the vaccine or introducing the vaccine to protect our body. So what is the funda behind this? What is the main concept behind the vaccination? That is acquired immunity. Acquired immunity. We have to acquire immunity against the pathogen. Okay, we have to produce plenty of antibodies in our body. We have to forcefully, we have to force our body to produce antibodies against a particular pathogen. That is nothing but the vaccination. So in a vaccination, what they are doing in a vaccination nowadays, you are also not in college because you are not vaccinated against a COVID. Okay. So everyone is waiting for COVID-19 vaccine when it will be arrived, and then only all will be with a naturally can happen, because it protects us from the ill impact of that disease. Okay, and so we will get protected from that disease, any disease, any viral as well as any bacterial disease. We can protect ourselves from the by vaccinating this. Up to the age 6, we have given a plenty of vaccines, which is given by our as our government is providing vaccine free of cost. Majority of the vaccines are provided free of cost in a PSC centers. In government hospitals, they are running the vaccination program that is come under the RCH. We have studied in our previous topic, retraction, right? We have studied the RCH. Okay. So in vaccination, what they are doing, they are taking the weakened or dead antigen. First of all, they are taking a dead antigen or introducing the dead antigen in our body. So what happened? As you know, naturally, when any antigen enters in our body produces the antibodies against it. But at very first time, this antigen is in a dead form. So very little amount of antibodies are produced in our body. As we are using, this is the dead antigen. Then the weakened antigen is introduced in our body. Then the production of antibodies increases. As the doses increases, we are just stronger antigens. We are just pure antigens, or simply, first of all, dead antigen, and our body gets familiar with that antigen, and our body produces the antibodies against it. Then the weakened antigens, obviously, this antigen when enters in our body, we have a less amount of antibodies are there, which can prohibit the pathogenic effect to show in us, or it prohibits us to get suffer with that disease. Okay, and we are producing the number of antibodies against it. When the another one, then the antigen is introduced in our body. At that time, we have plenty of antibodies in our body. Okay, when in the future, again, the strong amount of antigen when enters naturally in our body, but against this antigen, we have a number of antibodies, a set of antibodies already present in our bloodstream. As soon as this antigen naturally enters in our body, the antibodies works on it and destroy that antigen. Okay, so by such a method, by such a vaccination program which is run in our India, we have totally eradicated the polio virus. Okay, and majorly the vaccines are the pure form, doesn't showing or having very less ill impact, with a very less ill impact, and they goes under several testings. Okay, as you are knowing that first of all they are tested on animals, then on a very little human population, and then they're taking the sets of human and then works on it, and if they are showing any ill impacts, then they are not using that vaccines. Okay, nowadays, as you know, in India, second stage testing is done for COVID-19 vaccine, and further on it will be used on used for human trials. It is now using on human trials, and afterwards they will give to all. Okay, thank you very much.